YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Ethan, aka Geethers, and we're back here with another video today, and some more trade deadline stuff. I made another video that you're gonna see before you see this one. That came out before the day before this one. That is detailing the trade deadline. But one thing I didn't detail is the teams that didn't make a trade. This video is mainly going to be about one team in particular, the Chicago Bulls. But first, before we dive into them, I'm going to dive into a couple of the other teams that didn't make trades. That some teams maybe thought should have, but I'll talk about them and talk about maybe why they could have made trades but didn't necessarily have to. Before we get started, go ahead and y'all subscribe to the channel. This channel and the Trade Ball Podcast, the Geethers channel, the Trade Ball Podcast channel, both those channels. Subscribe to them, like the video if you're new. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it, man. So we'll start with the Lakers, the Hawks, and the Warriors. So there's four teams we want to talk about. Obviously, at least the Bulls are one of them. But first, we'll start with Lakers, Hawks, and Warriors. Three teams that didn't make any moves that we thought should have. First, the Lakers and the Hawks. Talk more about them because those are the teams on the bottom end that I think, could have definitely made moves, but you're okay with not making the moves. First, I'll start with the Hawks. This is a team that we thought maybe, they're really shuffling the deck up. Trae Young maybe, but obviously that was rumors, but I never thought he was going to get traded. But you have, DeJounte Murray, a lot of rumors of him being going to the Lakers or other teams, and you have DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, all these guys. But the main thing I want to say with them is these are guys that are under contract. These are guys that you can easily trade this offseason. So you're not in a rush to trade these guys if the market just wasn't good for them, and that doesn't seem like it was. So I'm not mad at them at all for holding on to their pieces. They're a team that they are mediocre, and they're going to be a play-in team, probably maybe a first-round exit if they make it to the playoffs. But they can shuffle the deck in the offseason, so it's not a big deal for them if, props to them for not rushing it, in my opinion, and trading DeJounte Murray to the Lakers for one first-round pick when you can maybe get something better, So that's about all I have to say about the Hawks. I don't mind what they did. And then, of course, your Los Angeles Lakers. With them, it's a bit different. It's different, but not so much. They're a team who obviously are on the LeBron timeline. So this is a team that LeBron's 39 years old. They want to compete now. But there wasn't much they really could have done, it seems like, if these teams like the Hawks or, maybe Larry Markkinen wasn't on the table, or all these other guys they were looking at weren't on the table and these teams weren't wanting to trade them just for nothing. What much could he have done? They only had one first-round pick to trade, and maybe they could have gotten involved with multiple seconds or stuff like guys like Bojan Bogdanovic. But, they didn't have a young player like a Quentin Grimes to give up for Bojan Bogdanovic. So it's not like they really have the pieces to make stuff happen. And I don't mind them not really doing much. They picked up Spencer Dinwiddie, of course, in the buyout market, but we'll see how that goes for him. But I don't think it's going to be it's not a difference maker even if he is really good. And he hasn't been good this season at all, so I'm not expecting much out of him anyway. But for their thing is too, their contracts that they're talking people trading. Not a lot of people wanted D'Lo, but he can still be traded this offseason. You have Austin Reeves that could be traded this offseason. And this offseason, you have three tradable first-round picks instead of only having one. So if you still want to go get DeJounte Murray, you actually have the assets to get him now. So I don't mind them waiting until the offseason either. That's probably what Rob Pelinka is thinking. Hey, I have two more first-round picks to work with this offseason. I can actually go make something happen now. So that's why, like I said, I wouldn't have minded if they made some trades around the edges, but also they didn't have much they could have done. So I'm glad they didn't rush and trade their first-round pick for something less than a DeJounte Murray, And then moving on to the next team is the Golden State Warriors. Now, this is a team I think should have made a move. They're not as bad as the Bulls, but, why did we get off the Chris Paul contract, Because this is a team who's not even in the play-in right now. And they've been better since Draymond came back, but, you didn't trade Clay to anybody. I don't think Clay's coming back this season. So I think you should have tried to trade Clay. Andrew Wiggins, he has no value, so I'm not surprised he didn't get traded. But the Chris Paul contract, I feel like somebody would have been on Chris Paul and bought him out. You could have gotten something. So I think it's a little odd that they didn't make any trades. And I just think that it's really gonna, Mike Dunleavy Jr. he's going to be in a handful, and he's going to have a handful this offseason. And Klay Thompson's probably gone. I think they probably won't make the playoffs. I don't know if they make the play-in, but it's looking slim. They've been good, but if they do make the play-in, they're going to be the bottom half of the play-in, I think. And I don't think they make the playoffs this year. So there's going to be some question marks this offseason. And I think you could have helped with some of those question marks by trading some of these guys and getting something out of them for some of that, like Klay Thompson's expiring deal, Chris Paul's expiring deal. So interesting to see. I'm very surprised that Chris Paul didn't get traded, but maybe they think once Chris Paul comes back from injury and they have Draymond back now that they can make a run. So maybe they do, but I don't really see it. And moving on to the bulk of this video. The Bulls, man. The Bulls. The Bulls are a team that not made a trade since 2021. Since they really made all these moves happen. And they're a team that could have cashed out, I should say. They could have really cashed out this trade deadline. They could have traded 1, 2, 3. They had four guys right here that could have really gotten them some stuff. Maybe not 4, maybe 3, because Zach LaVine is one of those guys I'm thinking of, but he's injured, so I don't know who would trade for him. So I'll take Zach LaVine out of that. Zach LaVine probably wasn't getting injured. He's a hefty contract, like 2027, and he's injured right now. So we'll take Zach LaVine out of that. And we know he's out for the rest of the season, of course. But DeMar DeRozan is a guy that you can't convince, even though he's still averaging 22 a game this season. He's still not his best season by any means, but this is a guy that I guarantee contending teams were calling about, and he's an expiring deal. You weren't going to get the value of DeMar DeRozan back, of course, but he's an expiring deal who is not coming. He's 34 years old, so he's not coming back this offseason. I don't think there's any world where he comes back unless the Bulls just give him way too much money. And that's the case, and that's a mistake as well. They need to embrace this youth movement. Kobe White leading the way, and just full on reset it. This what they have going on. It was fun for the first 40 games of that season, but it hasn't worked. It's just not working. And Lonzo Ball, who knows what he's going to be whenever he comes back. Zach LaVine injured for the season. There's no point in keeping this going and being a playing team. Maybe getting to the first round and getting swept by the Celtics, the Bucks. It's just it doesn't make sense to me. And DeMar DeRozan expiring contract, you could have gotten probably, even though he's expiring, you could have gotten a first round pick out of him. I believe a contending team would have bid at least one, and then you could have gotten 2 first round picks probably out of Alex Caruso. This guy, he still has. He's not an expiring deal by any means, but I believe he's got the rest of this year and then next year, and expiring next year, so he's going to be less valuable next year, right? And it's like Alex Caruso is at the peak of his power. He's 29 years old. He's Derek White type. He's one of the best role players in the league. One of the best defenders in the league too. And this is a guy that you could have gotten 1, 2 first round picks out of, and help you with your retool reset. And then Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is a guy who's on a minimum and is going to be gone after this season. Do you know why? Because he's playing out of his mind. He's been playing some really, really good basketball, and I know contending teams will call on to get him because they would love him as a backup center. You could have gotten probably a first round pick out of Drummond, because even though he's expiring at the end of this deal, even if not a first round pick, multiple seconds at least, and maybe an okay young player. Because this is a guy who, even though he's on an expiring deal, he's going to get paid by somebody this offseason to be their backup center. He's not going to be on a minimum anymore. And this is a guy that you could have gotten in to really, you could have gotten some value out of him for a guy that you had signed for nothing, right? And he's not going to be back next season. I don't think DeMar DeRozan's going to be back next season. Alex Caruso will be, but if you do end up trading him or just letting him play out his contract, you're not going to get as much value as you could have just gotten for him. So we're talking, I'm going to say 4 first-round picks they left on the table. I think out of the combination of DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, and Andre Drummond, you could have gotten 4 first-round picks out of those 3 guys. I think Alex Caruso was the most valuable piece, but you could have gotten 4 first-round picks out of the combination of those 3 guys. Well, out of all the different trades they could have done, at least 3, I think. 3, even if it is 3 first-round picks, and maybe some young players out of all that for guys that are probably going to walk at the end of the season. Drummond and DeMar DeRozan are gone. So why are we holding on to them? And it seems like their front office, they want to try to compete or whatever, but you're just putting out mediocre. You're putting mediocreness out for your fans to see. We know we're not making it past the first round. We know that's not happening. So why keep doing this? And it's frustrating. I'm not even a Bulls fan, but like if this was my franchise, I'd be so mad, And it's just tough because now they're going to even be a worse team next season, but they didn't get the assets that they could have gotten. So I think it's bogus. I think it's wild that your front office does that, and very, very poorly ran. Very, very poorly ran. They don't draft well either, but I mean, at least in this new regime, they haven't drafted well. But hopefully, they can. I mean, you can only miss so many times on first round picks. They could have gotten so many first round picks. So they're the biggest question mark for me, but. I'll go ahead and stop hating on them. We can go ahead and get up and out of here. I appreciate y'all for watching. Y'all let me know what y'all think the Bulls should have done, or some of these other teams. What you'd like to see your favorite teams, like the Lakers, the Warriors, do. But I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Hope y'all have a good All-Star break. Enjoy your little break from basketball. I know some of y'all are weird like me. Y'all like watching basketball every day, but I like to enjoy the All-Star break. It not only gives the players a break, but it gives me a break from watching. Sometimes you need that. So. Thank you all for watching, man. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, all that good stuff on both channels, the Gaithers channel and the Trey Ball Podcast. I appreciate y'all. It's been a pleasure. Peace.